And welcome everybody back for another one today. This is going to be the third flight, second stream of the day. Ready to get to it. Though, do something a little bit different on this one. We're going to have some rain showers throughout the entire flight. For those of you who watched the last stream earlier today, when we ran live weather, we're having lots of issues with the flight sim not injecting wind or live wind like it was supposed to, so it was causing lots of issues with our fuel consumption, burning lots of extra gas, kept making the speed fluctuate, stuff like that. So instead of running live weather, we're just going to do some pre-built weather that's in the sim. So let's go ahead and jump inside of the cockpit. We are cold and dark as of right now. We'll go over our flight plan real quick. So I pulled her out off of 4-flight. This is what our route looks like, starting here in Greenville, and then headed over to Norfolk. Flying the A32NX. It's about an hour flight time. We're going to try to make it up to 35,000 feet. Should be doable. Yeah, we got 1,500 pounds of extra gas on top of our 15-minute policy fuel. Zero fuel weight's going to be 131.8. Takeoff weight's 144.5. And we're on the Brimmer 2 driving transition to FRANZ. Jet route 209 to TYI, whatever that is. Transition onto the drone 2. And today our main takeoff fuel is 11.2 and our ramp fuel is 13.1. So let's get after it. Alright. We have the external power hooked up. Get that going, get the ADAIR started. Don't know if that messed it up. I guess we'll see if we don't get an on bat or not. Yep, on bat. Very nice. While I was doing that, go number 3. Supposed to have a light. No, actually, never mind. That's APU. So you will not have a light, obviously, since it's not an engine. Get our brightnesses squared away. We'll go about half up since it's a little dark. All that should be good. We'll go ahead and start to initialize. As we talked about, got an hour and 1 minute en route. This says ramp fuel should be 13,102, and that is correct. It cross checks with our sim brief OFP. Zero fuel weight. It's planned 171.8. Got that in there. cross checks as well. I'm not going to pull weather because we're not running live weather. So we have the correct nav database. Greenville over to Norfolk. I keep wanting to say Greensboro. Greenville over to Norfolk. 320 Neo, CI40, flight level 350. So we're going to be departing off of runway 22 on the Bimmer 2 to the DRIVN transition. And then Norfolk, we're going to arrive ILS, should be 32. Yep. Correction. ILS 23, not 32. Our arrival is the drone 2. Looks like we're missing some transitions or some vias. Alright, so here's the Tar River. It's the name of this VOR. Don't believe we want the Norfolk via. So really the only one we could use is J-Hall, but I don't think that's going to be on here. Nope. This will say no via. And then, come on, man. They don't have, actually I think Raleigh's going to have to be the transition. If you look at our arrival here, we got the Raleigh transition. So Tar River is not an official transition, even though in a real airplane you could put in any one of these that you want. But looks like we can only do the official transitions, so we're going to have to do Raleigh. So we'll go through this again. ILS 23, drone 2, no via, Raleigh's in there. Insert. Got TYI in there. See if we can get rid of it. Okay, so that actually fixes that. Can't get rid of the user fix. I hate that. I hate it. You can't get rid of the user fix that this thing puts in there. Alright, so cool. Can't do secondary RadNav. I don't remember if there's... I don't think there's a VOR. I think Spartanburg is the closest one, which would be SPA. Put in Norfolk as well. Cool. Alright, so over to the init B. Put in our zero fuel weight CG. Block fuel is 13.1. We're going to do flaps 2 to contaminated runway. It's wet, so we're going to go toggle takeoff. Transition altitude 18,000 feet. Put our V speeds in 27, 28, 32. That's squared away. For constraints, switch on our VORs, and we'll make our initial climb up to 5,000. Let's get the APU started. We'll turn on the seatbelt sign now that the fuel is on the airplane. Looking for the flap open. There she is. While that's starting, we'll button everything else up. APU bleed, external power, turn on the fuel pumps, and beacon light. I think we're just about ready to go. I did manage to rob a Pacifico beer from the fridge. It might be my roommate's, but oh well. It's okay. I've never even heard of this beer before. It's like a Heineken or something. What's going on, Rylan? Good to see you in the chat, my friend. Thank you for stopping in and checking out the stream. Alright, so we're parked here on the ramp. We're just going to start up from here and we'll taxi out. It's going to be a short taxi down to 22. Start off, we'll get rid of the power. Cool. Alright, so before we start her up, let's roll through our before start checklist. Before start checklist, maintenance log and tails, onboard and check, cockpit prep is complete, gear pins and covers removed, signs on auto, ADIRS nav, fuel 11.2 is required, and we've got 13.1 on board. Altimeter's 2992 set, EFB is checked, windows, doors and slides closed and armed, beacons on, thrust levers idle, parking brakes on, transponder is auto. Before start checklist is complete. I'll start the timer as if we just pushed from the gate. We got enough bleed air, so we'll start chrono, start engine 1. Yeah, man, sure do. Let me see if I can get you a link. Hang on, this is really loud in my ears. Yeah, okay. Sorry, that was really, really loud in my ears. So yeah, so to download it, I'll get you the link. I haven't gotten it to work. So when you're downloading it, are you using the download client, the download or the installer that goes to your I put mine on my desktop, but it's a fly-by-wire installer. The only other thing I could think of, see, it looks like this, and then you would hit install, which goes without saying. Only other thing I can think of is if you go to your settings, make sure that it's installed correctly, that you have your installed directory set up correctly. If you do that, then you shouldn't have any problems. Is it just not showing up in your airplanes? Or actually, another thing that I've noticed happens a lot with a buddy of mine, a lot of times he thinks he's flying the fly-by-wire, but he's actually choosing the Asobo A320. So make sure you're also not doing that. Make sure you're scrolling a little bit, think towards the middle of all of your airplanes, and make sure that you're clicking the fly-by-wire and not the Asobo. Yeah, try all that stuff and let me know how it works out for you. And also, that looks like, is that Georgia Bulldogs helmet as your icon? And so, I'm an LSU fan. It won't show up in your airplanes. Yeah, make sure that you're you have that install directory pointed at your community folder, and that should work. Alright, let's fire up engine number 2. We'll reset the timer. Yeah, man, anytime, not a problem. And like I said, I'm an LSU fan, but I support anybody that's SEC. Got a few coworkers of mine that are also flight dispatchers that are big Bulldog fans. Every now and then at work, we'll watch a little SEC football. I don't know, good question. I actually saw that today when I was getting a haircut about signing them into the SEC. I don't know how I feel about that, but I mean, A&M's in it, so I guess it would make sense from that standpoint. Alright, got a good start on number 2, so we'll go through the after start flow. Alright, after start checklist. Engine anti-ice is off, yellow electric pump off, rudder trim 0. After start is complete. Go brake check, pressure's green. Taxi down, whatever this is. It's probably not a named taxiway. And then turn out here on the big one, and then we'll make a right and go back up Lima. I don't know what MRO is. If anybody has ever been to this airport, let me know what MRO is. It's also on here, the MRO ramp. Never heard of that before. Let's see if sim update number 5 came in. Nope, winch wiper still don't do nothing. It's loud and obnoxious, so we'll turn it off. Just got some light rain, we don't really need those. One thing I do think would be really cool to see is if fly-by-wire could somehow implement use of the rain repellent buttons, as if like when you push the rain repellent button it would maybe use the rain effect to make some sort of I don't know, something on the windshield. That'd be pretty cool. Alright, when we get straightened out, we'll go through flight controls check, which is then followed by before takeoff flow, before takeoff checklist, and ready to go. We got our 3 minutes for our warm-up, so it'd be takes about a minute and 15 seconds for the engine to start, plus another 3 minutes. We'll give you a total of 4 minutes and 15 seconds, so we know our engines have met the 3-minute criteria for the warm-up. So we can stop this, reset it. Alright, we'll go flight controls check, full left, full right, neutral, full up, full down, neutral. Now let's try not to go off the taxiway. Full left, full right, neutral. Flight controls check is complete. Straighten up a little bit before I take my eyes off the taxiway. Weather radar on, predictable wind shears on, TCAS, TARA, max auto brake. Check the status page, all good there. Check that. We have met our takeoff config. We're relatively close to the end of the runway, so we'll go ahead and ding the flight attendants.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
Yeah, I love flying in the rain too. Just need these windshield wipers to actually do something. Give us a reason to use them. Other than, I don't know, I guess some people are like, oh, it's raining, let's turn them on. Alright, let's see. Before takeoff checklist. Gross weight comparisons complete. Pitch trim 30%. CG set. V1, VR, V2, flex. V1 127, VR 128, V2 is 132, flex. Toga, so no flex. Flaps is config 2. Flight instruments checked. Flight controls checked. ECAM memo takeoff all green. ECAM status has been checked. Predicted wind shears on auto. TCAS code set TARA. Cabin crew is advised before takeoff to the line is complete. And that's one thing I did not call for whenever I first started the checklist. Is it would be before start checklist. Correction, before takeoff checklist to the line, which would be there's a physical line on the checklist, and you would go and you'd stop there. But if you're close enough to the end of the runway where you can confirm what runway you're on, then you can do before takeoff checklist all the way and finish up the entire checklist. But we weren't just close enough yet, so stopped at the line. I see runway 22. So before takeoff checklist, below the line. Takeoff runway 22 confirmed. Fuel. Again, we need, I can never remember this, 11.2 is required, and we've got 12.8 on board. Engine mode selectors normal, bleeds packs are set. Before takeoff checklist, below the line is complete. Alright, let's rock and roll. Wipers for takeoff. Before departure, we'll get rid of my face. see that. Departure heading is 218, so we'll plug that in. Actually, we're on an RNAV SID, so we could probably just fly the SID, but I don't know how well this thing is doing it with the current LNAV system that's in it. Whatever, we'll just go with RNAV SID. Alright. Run them up. Get them symmetrical. My throttles aren't very good symmetrical-like. Mantoga SRS Auto Thrust Blue. 8 knots, they're set. Neutral about 100. V1. Rotate. Now we got positive brake, gear up. Some spoilers. These lights. Kill that god awful windshield wiper. Acceleration altitude, nose down, accelerate a bit, thrust climb, climb, want to go into open climb, bring up to flight level 170, try to stay out of the worst of that sail ahead of us, that we're pretty much in. Alright, there's flap 1 speed. Above that speed, so we can go flaps up. After takeoff checklist, landing gears up, flaps retracted, bleeds and packs are set, APU is off. After takeoff checklist complete. The thing I love about Microsoft Flight Sim, when you're looking at the weather radar on the ND, you actually, like when you're in a gap, you actually physically outside of the airplane, like are in a gap, like you can see out and about. And then once you get into a cell, you're back in the rain, you're IMC, and you can't see anything. So in that regard, it's pretty realistic, which is really nice. Flying prepared and X-plane for so long, a lot of that stuff never happened that way like it was supposed to. Couldn't see range shafts. Now we just need some high fidelity airplanes and a few other things, but other than that, be set. So in the fly-by-wire, when you're able to finally get the fly-by-wire up and running, what you do is put this on autopilot. Go autopilot 2 since I'm FO flying, because I fly from the wrong side. There's 10,000. So to get the weather radar on, you have to turn the weather system on, which is down here, the bottom left of the pedestal. You got 2 systems on the Airbus. So you got system number 1, system number 2. Usually number 1 is used. If 1 is deferred, then you use number 2. If you turn this on, then you should get weather radar as long as you have weather present, and you also don't want to have the terrain on the nav display selected, because that'll get rid of all your weather. So if you do those two things, you should have weather radar. Try that and let me know how that works for you. After a little bit more streaming, I'm still trying to get the hang of this whole streaming thing and using OBS and all that good stuff. Next thing I got to really work on and get proficient at is flying on VATSIM. I think I don't know how much of a difference VATSIM makes in a stream. How much people enjoy watching somebody do VATSIM. I've flown VATSIM plenty of times, but man, you know, when you start streaming and get in front of the world, so to speak. Not that I have hardly anybody watching, but then you get a little nervous, afraid you're gonna mess up and look like a dum-dum. At least I do. I'm sure most normal streamers that don't take flying super serious probably just go with it and enjoy it. I'm going to turn the icing on, or any ice on. Probably in the real world there would definitely be icing conditions inside these clouds. Negative, I think it says negative 16. Negative 17 static air temperature, and then 0 on the true air temperature, so yeah, definitely be icing conditions. Speed alt star. Turn off these displays now that we're in the sunlight. And we'll say ATC just cleared us up to 290. Thrust climb, open climb. How long it takes us to get out of this stuff. Should make for a pretty nice breakout whenever we finally get out of the soup, as my good buddy Rio calls it. Oh, I'm about to bust out. Must have been a kid sitting in the seat. Got all those scratches and stuff on the window. Oh, there it is. That never gets old. And we're going back in. Yeah, my good buddy Rio is also a flight dispatcher with me. We do a lot of flight simming together. In fact, we got a video on here that we did a live stream doing a shared cockpit flight, trying to do all the checklists and all that good stuff. He's from Africa, so he's got a very interesting accent, and when he says that we're in the soup, he says, "Ah, we're in the soup." Cracks me up every time. Alright, so we are above transition altitude, so obviously we'll go standard. standby is already in standard since it was already 2992 when we departed. So I left my drone camera in Greensville. I kind of want to reset it, but I'm afraid that might crash the sim, so I'm going to use my better judgment and not do that. But I was planning on doing like a cinematic-ish takeoff using the drone camera, but I put it on the wrong end of the runway, the opposite end of the runway that we were taking off of, so didn't do that. We'll go ahead and put this up to our final cruise altitude of flight level 350. Make sure we're in upper climb. We are. And we can kill the anti-ice now that we are out of icing conditions. So for anybody who doesn't know, icing conditions in aviation is defined as visible moisture at or below 10 degrees Celsius. And when you up high like this, just about everything is definitely going to be below 10 degrees Celsius. Haha, there he is in the soup, my boy Rio, who also goes by Zulu Makatira, Limbani, Zulu 365. The dude's got so many nicknames, it's stupid. But Rio is currently sitting in Atlanta, I believe, waiting to catch a flight down to Fort Lauderdale. He was sending me a few pictures earlier. So Rio, man, now that you're just joining us, we are headed over to Norfolk, Virginia. Took off out of Greensville, Spartanburg Airport. Both these airports are Verticalsim. We're just kind of hopping around some Verticalsim airports and checking them out. Should be a pretty short remainder of the flight. So we've been out the gate, or from startup, it's been 25 minutes. So probably got another 30-35 minutes before we're wheels down. That's why I don't like putting my camera on. My camera blocks all the beauty. My face is blocking the beautiful cloud there. Let's get rid of me. flight plan. We got 268 miles to go. $233 miles in a straight line to the runway threshold. Hopefully we can make it up to our final cruise out, because we're finding a little slow. By the time we get up, it's going to be time to come down. We're at 35,000 feet. Start our way down at probably about 115, 120 miles. Descent rate between 1,800 and 2,200 feet per minute. Should put us roughly about where we want to be. While we're climbing, something I'm going to share with y'all that I saw this morning whenever I was figuring out what I was going to do for the stream. Recently, Verticalsim subscribed to my channel, which is pretty cool because they were my 21st subscriber. 21 is a special number to me. It was always my baseball and football number growing up. But nonetheless, it's pretty cool to have a developer follow you. Not that my channel is, even remotely close to anything cool. I'm no Captain Canada or Blue Games, XP72, V1. I'm none of them. I've got 21 subscribers, and probably half of them were people I had before I ever started flight sim streaming, and then the others are all friends from work and stuff like that. So it's not like I'm sponsored or anything, but I want to show y'all. I think it's hellacious, like a really good deal. But Verticalsim is running a deal right now, end of summer sale, save up to 30% on their Microsoft Flight Sim airports. Look at these prices. This stuff's cheap. Sarasota, $16.50. Pretty daggum good bang for your buck, especially when you got the terminal that's rendered. Fayetteville, $7.50. Greensville, $10. Norfolk, $9. All these airports we're flying today. I do have Plant City as well. That's a very small GA airport. I typically do airline type stuff, so I don't fly into there very much. But look at these prices. Man, you spend more money than this at McDonald's. Especially if you go to Waffle House after the bar. Shoot, you spend more money at Waffle House than all these combined after a night at the bar. So anyways, I just thought I'd share that with y'all. It's a pretty good deal, and I really enjoy their airports. They're kind of cool too, because they're kind of the size of airports that you could fly an Airbus into, or even do some regional ops like CRJ. If you got the patience to fly that airplane, which I don't. But yeah, if you don't have any Greenville Airport, if you don't have any Verticalsim airports, and you ain't got a job, hell, ask your parents for $7.50. I'm sure they'll Venmo it to you. Alright, so we have finally reached our cruising altitude of 35,000 feet. Everything is smooth. Kill the seatbelt sign. And now we can start briefing our approach, or our descent, approach, everything into Norfolk. So currently we've got 231 miles. It's Still ticking. Got to keep an eye on that. On the last flight that I did on the last stream, at 105 miles, this stopped. And noticed that on the ND, it was getting a little bit closer than what the McDo was saying. So I went to the prog page, put this in, except it was a different airport, and we were 30 miles from the threshold, whereas the flight plan was saying we were 105. So we're going to keep an eye on this. It may be a bug, but whatever. So anyways, let's talk about coming in. So we're going to come in on the drone to arrival on the Tar River transition. Cross Dean at flight level 210. That's what we're going to try to. No promises. Cofield, and then drone at 11,000 feet. That's probably what we'll just aim for. Might be lazy and just aim for 11,000. Let's see. So then that will put us into the Norfolk terminals. Then what we'll have to do, I know we'll check the flight plan page in a second and see how the routing is looking, how the McDo's going to try to bring us around, and what waypoints it's bringing us to. But worst case scenario, we'll put it into heading mode, and then we'll join up with the ILS. So we're planning ILS runway 23. Frequency is 109.1. Final approach course at 227 degrees. Final approach fix is Lufsea, 1,600 feet. Our decision height, because this is a precision approach, is 200 feet. The touchdown zone elevation is 26 feet if we go missed. And there's always a medium chance of that with my flying. We will do a modified version of this. So we'll climb to 2,000. And instead of doing a Norfolk VOR radio 225 to Cali and so on and so forth, we'll just swing it back around and try again. Let's see. This is a standard 30-degree glide slope. We have approach lights, the Pappy on the left. We'll climb to 2,000, swing her back around. And again, our minimum is 200 feet, half-mile visibility. Pretty sure we have that with the weather preset we're using. Need to bring up Norfolk's airport diagram. Alright, so we are landing on runway 23. I don't see any notes. So, I would expect, obviously you can't use any part of the blast pad. So we should have all 9,001 feet of usable runway, so we can land here and we can use this for the rollout. Hopefully we don't need to go that far. So we are planning 9,001 foot of wet runway. When we come to a slow enough stop, we're going to try to exit on taxiway Bravo and take Bravo into actually I keep forgetting we're not in airlines today. General aviation area. So okay, so I guess we'll either bring it down here, maybe over here. No, we'll figure it out when we get there. But I guess we'll exit. Hell, if we can, it'd be great. We would exit Golf, cross 32 Alpha to the GA area. So if we miss Golf, let's do this. If we miss Golf, then we'll come over to this area. If we don't miss Golf, then we'll come to the GA area. So weather will be a factor. Low ceilings, possibly low vis, rain, wet runway. It's going to degrade our stopping capabilities. So with that, we'll go auto brake. Go auto brake low. It's long enough runway. Since the ILS, we'll go ahead and arm our ILS push buttons. I think got just about squared away for the approach briefing. 191 miles out. Looking good. Route looks pretty good. Did throw this user fix in there, so to figure out where it's putting it. Of course, it's putting it all over there. So I think what we'll do is when we hit drone, we'll fly drone until we're close, and we'll put the airplane into a heading mode to fly parallel on the downwind, and instead of flying this whole arc, we'll just do that, and then use heading mode to turn, as if like we're being vectored, and then we'll turn base, doing it that way. But at least this doesn't have us zigzagging and all kinds of stupid stuff, you never know. For our weather, I guess we'll just do, so we know the altimeter is 2992. Temperature, I don't know what it put it as. So this will tell us temperature is 15. Raise that up a little bit. Messing stuff up. Or whatever. Temperature's 15. Winds, Sarah calm, transition 19,000. It's one reason why I do like live weather, so you can get actual info, put it in here. Whereas using the preset stuff, you don't know exactly what the sim is injecting. $150 miles. We'll start down in about 20 miles. So now that we're getting ready to come down, we just want to cross check real quick, make sure our frequencies are correct. So for ILS 23, the frequency is 109.1 with a course heading of 227. And we got 109.1, 227. Perfect. Switch these. Can't wait till the day that we get auto tune. That will be awesome. And then also auto update would be really cool. Auto update is an ACARS function where when a new METAR or a new ADIS is published by an airport, it will automatically print out on the printer, and you don't have to go into the McDo, ATSU, AOC, and do all this stuff. You just, in fact, I think I saw it on here somewhere. It was grayed out, but it's like something they want to do in the future. Yeah, here you go. Arrival auto update. You get that? That would be really cool. It'd be cool too to like just be flying along and all of a sudden company message that you did not make happen yourself. Which there is always the function of the free text. You can text somebody using the ACARS through the airplane. I've tried sending a few people that I saw on Volanta and stuff like that, and I think I had one go through one time, but the pilot never responded. I was sad. I've also used it to mess with Rio. I'll be flying shared cockpit, and while we're flying, I'll type a message. Even though we're flying the same airplane with the same call sign, I'll basically send the message to ourselves. And then when company message will pop up, I'd have him check the message just to read it. You can see a message come through the ACARS, just talking shit to him. How he's a terrible pilot, stuff like that. It's pretty entertaining when it's like something you're actually doing or you see happening instead of me talking about it. Alright, so there's 120. Our first crossing constraint is flight level 210. That ain't going to happen. Look how close we are. So disregard that. We're going to meet our next one at drone 11,000. That's what we're going to try. $11,000. Full vertical speed. I'm going to start with 2,200 feet per minute. Might have to use a little bit of spoiler to keep ourselves from overspeeding. But the fact that we're supposed to cross Dean at 21,000 feet, and we are clearly way higher than that, makes me think that we are going to have a hard time making drone, but we'll give it a shot. I believe. No, I did not just see lightning outside. Don't need no lightning. Don't need no thunderstorms while I'm trying to stream. You're killing my power. So far we're maintaining speed pretty well. Yep, just heard thunder. Got a deep thump to it too. Just need a little more speed brakes. And definitely turn on that anti-ice before we get into the soup. Let's check the weather real quick. This thunder. There ain't much of nothing around us. There's just a bunch of rain. Doesn't look like it would warn any thunder. So we're 21 miles from CBI, which is Cofield, plus about another 5 miles. So that puts us roughly 27 miles from drone, and we're still way too high. But we're gonna get some really good shots of flying in and out of this IMC stuff. Alright, anti-ice is coming on. And we'll turn the seatbelt sign on. So you're gonna hit some bumps when you get in this stuff. So out of curiosity, let's see if we turn the, I don't know if we even can, we'll try to angle the radar down and see if we can see more into what's in front of us and below us than just what's 20 miles ahead. Let's see, we got tip, nope, tip don't work, just as I figured. Alright, here we go. Getting close to the soup. just hit Cofield. There is transition altitude. 2992 is set. Alright, so now we can run the briefing or the approach checklist. Approach checklist. Briefing is complete. Approach stable by 1,000 feet. DCAM status is checked. When I actually do it. DCAM status checked. Seatbelt signs on. Minimums 200 feet set. Engine anti-ice 1 and 2 are on. And altimeter is 2992 set. Approach checklist is complete. So we're at drone and 5 miles. Still a little bit high, but it's not too bad. Next will be let's actually base this off the chart. So we'll be at 2,000 feet. Left seat 1,600. J Hall 2,000. So yeah, we'll go down to 2,000. Static air temperature is still less than 10. I'm going to anti-ice off for right now. We're not in any clouds. Bring it down to 2,000 and we'll shallow off our descent. We've got a little ways to go. Keep the speed brakes out so we can slow down for the 10,000 foot speed restriction, 250 knots. And there's 250. Track those speed brakes. And bring that descent coming back down. And there's 10,000. little bit of spoilers just again to keep us on that 250. I'm gonna go into selected speed. Let's put it at 240. I like to get into selected speed well before I get on the approach, so that I don't accidentally activate the approach phase in the McDo and then and just dump all my speed if I'm still in managed speed. Alright, about to hit visible moisture again, which is the clouds. And we are still below 10 degrees Celsius on the static air temperature. Turn that back on. Now, I need to ask one of my pilot buddies. It doesn't go strictly based off of 10 degrees Celsius or less in visible moisture. That true air temperature also comes into effect somehow. I can't remember how they determine, but for today we're just going to go based off of below 10 degrees Celsius or not. Catch some of those bumps from the clouds. The other one, daggone. I don't know about y'all, but I'm pretty anal about my screen brightness. Still below 10 degrees. So, if we're trying to fly parallel to the airport, approach heading is 227. Opposite of that is 47. So let's do that. Turn to 47. That should put us perfectly parallel to the field. And as you can see, we got the airport out there off our right wing.
$2,500.
Alt star. Now we can start bleeding off some of this speed. I was going to say that we could maybe turn to Lufsy, get down low early, make a shallow approach, but there's a lot of rain showers over that. We might lose sight of the field, make it a little bit harder. But you know what? We got balls on this channel, so let's go for it. Let's go down to 1600, and let's start turning. We'll go flaps 1. Now everything you want to start doing it a little earlier than normal, since it's going to be such a shallow approach. You pretty much want to be almost configured by the time that you hit Lufsy. 180. Right now we are 8 miles from the threshold. We're still going to go out just a little bit further. We'll come out and get just about where we would be if we were flying parallel, and then go Lufsy. It's going to be a pretty hard turn for this fly-by-wire plane to make. We'll go flaps 2. This plane seems to struggle when it comes to capturing the localizer on a 90-degree turn, or anything that's even close to a 90-degree turn. And let's go 170. 7-mile final, just about right where I want to be. If I get to fly pilot's discretion, I'd stay 170 to 170 knots to 7 miles, and then finish configuring once we start down on the glide slope. But you do have to move somewhat quick if you're doing single pilot stuff. Like if I had Rio that doing a shared cockpit with me, it would be a lot easier. He can handle gear and flaps and checklists and stuff like that. Doing it by yourself, you got to move a little bit quicker. So let's go ahead and try to shallow off this turn a little bit. I'm going to arm approach mode. Flat from here. So, otherwise that glide slope's going to get away from us before we get to the localizer. So in real life from here you would probably go around. There we go. Glide slope localizer. Because we're almost at 1,000 feet and we're not really stable. Gear down. I just realized I'm pretty screwed. Let's see if we get this. Alright, looks like it's already. Approach mode approach phase is activated. Dump our speed. Yeah, see, this all fell apart real fast. Would have been a lot better if I just flown the whole approach. Fast, we're not stable.
400.
We'll get down to minimums. If we're still not, then we'll go around.
100 above.
Just in time. I don't like it. Let's go
Minimum.
around.
Don't sink.
Positive rate. Gear up. Go around flaps. This one's spoilers. Let's see what kind of stuff they got in this fly-by-wire for go-arounds. Acceleration altitude. We're going to climb to 3,000. Is the missed approach altitude. We should have had that set, so that's also my mistake. how bad things can get. I'm trying to do this stuff single pilot. Alright, so we'll go 2000, we'll go autopilot on. Go heading mode. Come on, airplane. Do what you're supposed to do. We can get it worked out one way or another. Turn her and try her again. Maybe this time we'll fly the whole approach. Doing all this single pilot, it's just a little too task saturated. Looking good on the fuel. We got 7.9 on board, so we got plenty of gas. Not worried about that. Sure, if this was real life, passengers would be super thrilled. We probably could have landed it, but real world would have gone around a lot sooner than that. That was a pretty terrible approach. Fast, we weren't stable. We were exceeding our descent rate criteria to be stable. It just wasn't great. So might as well just spin around and try again. Got the airport again. Getting this rain. So this time we're going to buy ourselves a little bit more time, and we're going to go to U-Haul and do it the way we should have done it in the first place. I was just trying to be fancy for the YouTubes, but I guess I'm not that fancy. But also on the flip side, how many flight sim streamers do you see conducting go-arounds when they're not stable? Probably not many. Something else that I can't wait to have hopefully one day in the sim is wind shear. Wind shear would be pretty cool. Have an aircraft that's capable of detecting wind shear, go around for wind shear. Pretty neat. So activate the approach phase. So that's done. There's one spot where I thought I'd messed up, and I didn't activate it myself. It had done it itself. But the fact that I had to stop and go check and all that was a contributing factor in that terrible approach. Got a rainbow. Alright, let's go ahead and slow her down. 11 miles to the threshold. So we are below flaps 1 speed. So go flaps 1. Go ahead and turn, shallow off the turn for this here airplane. On it, and then we'll go flaps 2. So everything really started falling apart on that last approach when the glide slope was ahead of the localizer. Typically, you like to capture the localizer before you capture the glide slope, which we have just done. There's Loc Star. Well, I guess it's alive, it's not captured yet. Let's see if this airplane can capture it the first time without having to zigzag over flat. Damn. I actually caught it without zigzagging. Nice. That doesn't happen too often. And so we're just gonna chill right here, just like this, until capturing the glide slope. And as you can see, glide slope is alive. She's moving on down the line. Six and a half mile final. Glide slope. Lower gear on the spoilers. Manage speed. And go 5-3. We have been cleared to land.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
So we just need a landing ECAM memo to give us all green. We'll visually inspect it ourselves. So landing checklist: cabin crews advised, auto thrust, speed, auto brakes, low, ECAM memo. Landing should be all greens. We got gear down, signs are on, auto ground spoilers are armed, and flaps are full. Landing checklist complete. Let's do this, maybe this will help. Glide slope, localizer, Cat 3 dual, autopilot 1 and 2. Still no. I'm sure the go around is probably confused this airplane.
1,000.
There we go. Landing all green. So again, we need 200-foot ceilings and half-mile viz for this approach. But to find out if we got it or not. We won't know the viz, but we will know based off the ceiling. We got approach lights, so we are good to continue. Had a lot better visibility on the last approach. This shows how much can change. I've lost the approach lights. Got them again.
Minimum.
Minimums. My airplane.
100.
Break out of this stuff.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Retard.
Flare. Go. Negative 291. That's terrible. I think that's probably a little more excessive than what it really was. And there's 60 knots. Spoilers reverse green and decel. Should have said that sooner. Cool. It's definitely just light rain now, so cut these off. Alright, taxiway golf is what we're looking for. We passed it, so we'll just keep on going down to Alpha, take a left on Alpha. I always forget to run that replay thing to watch the landings. Alright, here's Alpha. will kill engine 1. Turn on the the electric pump. Got a cutty. Yeah, just did that. Pretty lame. Alright, I guess that will work. Set the parking brake. Turn off the electric pump. Kill number 1. TCA standby. Get rid of the message. Beacon off. Seatbelt signs off. Pumps are off. APU bleed is on. Cool. Alright. One thing I didn't do was the after landing checklist, which was exterior lights were set, flaps retracted, TCAS transponder standby, engine mode selectors normal, ground spoilers are disarmed, radar and predictive wind shear off. Now for the parking checklist, slides are disarmed, engines off, seatbelts off, exterior lights set, ice protections off, fuel pumps off, the electric pump off, chalk signals received, parking brake is set. Cool. Now we'll go ahead and just shut everything down on this airplane. Get it back to how you would find it when you first put the airplane on. Don't worry about the AC. And that'll just about do it. Just waiting on this APU to shut off. Oh, shouldn't do that. Shouldn't stop the airplane with the nose wheel cocked sideways. Good thing it's flight sim and not real world. That's crazy, you can even see the raindrops outside of the airplane. Come on, APU. Maybe it'll be today. Maybe it won't be today. There we go. And batteries are off. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, well, thank you so much for coming and watching this one with me. Again, this was our last leg of the multi-flight stream that we were trying to do earlier today. Then I had to leave and go get a haircut to kind of show off some of these Verticalsim airports that you get for the great price they run in, that 30% off end of summer sale right now. So if you don't have any of these airports, go and grab you some of them because they are awesome. Great textures, custom jet bridges. Sarasota's got the terminal modeled. Don't get no better than that. So again, thanks everybody for coming along, and we'll catch you on the next one.